So yeah, my name is Marialuisa Diaz de Leon, expressive arts therapist, somatic movement therapist, and educator. Um, just want to share a little bit about my expressive arts lineage coming from the work of Anna Halprin and Daria Halprin at the Tamalpa Institute in California. And I been just so grateful for the medicine of the movement-based expressive arts. And it's something that it's my lineage. I just keep coming back to it. And I think it was my lineage before I knew it was my lineage, because I always felt like my body knew so much and could hold so much. And whenever I was able to express all of it, that just became something that I just cannot live without. And my other lineage comes from my culture, from my country in Mexico. And I was just having a bit of chatting over WhatsApp with my sister, leaving voice messages. And she said, "Oh, it's so great that you're sharing about the Day of the Dead and with an international community. But do you think someone who is not Mexican can feel the way we feel it?" And I'm like, well, no. And that's the point. Like, we each will connect with this tradition in our very own way and through the expressive arts. But what I would like to offer to begin with is that this tradition has indigenous roots that then got layered with the coming of people from Spain to conquer and to convert people into Catholicism. So there's a lot of blending of traditions there. And the main part of this is that it happens at a time, typically it happens on November 1st and 2nd. In other countries in the world, there are celebrations around the same time, acknowledging that the veil between the worlds thins out. So the world of spirits can be more easily accessible. And within the Day of the Day, it's a kind of a welcoming party to those who have left, because in this tradition, we believe they're not gone forever. And just imagine as if you have a friend who lives very far away, and year after year you make this date to get together and celebrate. And so that's the spirit. I just wanted to kind of convey what the spirit of celebration is. We also have a tradition in Mexico. There's a flower that blooms around this time of the year, and it's bright and orange. There is a variety coming, I believe, from China that comes to the United States. It's called marigold. So it's very similar, but not quite the same. The name of this flower in Mexico, it's actually in the spoken language of native language of Nahuatl. It's called cempasúchil. So they're yellow, orangey, very bright, and their fragrance is also what brings in our loved ones into this realm. They are guided by the scent, by the fragrance. The sugar skulls that we create as candy, there's a special bread that is baked also as a way to say, you see, there is sweetness here. There is sweetness that we come here to share. We create altars in the actual cemeteries, and they are called like picnics. We bring food, especially the favorite food of the person who passed. Sometimes we celebrate not just one, but several people in the family, including pets. Candles, there are lots of candles. So in fact, I have a candle here for my cat, Millie, who passed actually a year ago, and I have a picture of her right there. articles that they wore, or that they carry with them, or symbolic of. So all of those are placed on top of the actual tombs. And if there's no tomb, then sometimes in the house you have a space kind of just reserved for these persons around this time of the year. So not everybody goes to the cemetery, but that's where the tradition began, in a small village town in the state of Michoacan in Mexico. And it has spread all over the place, and sometimes all over the world. So as in many other cultures, this is not new to Mexico, but when the approach of death and dying is like, death is not something like abrupt end. It's really a transition. So that's why there is this time of the year where we believe we can still be in communion for a moment, and then let it go until the next year. So, and that's the way we remember, and we keep the tradition, the storytelling tradition. So another element for this, and this is the last piece I want to offer, is the creation of a type of poem that it's called calaveras, something that could be translated such as skulls, like the face skulls. And they have a bit of a political origin. They used to, in the early 1900s, they used to be written as making fun of political figures that are not pleasant to people. So they will kind of make fun or criticize those political figures, and kind of that was kind of how it began. But it has translated into just creating poetry that would honor and would exaggerate both the qualities of the people that are loved ones who pass, but also in a very loving way. This is something that it's probably the hardest thing to translate about the Mexican culture. It's a bit of a satire, but it's a very loving way to kind of joke around the flaws, because it's not to kind of say, oh, that person was so good and loving, the best of the best, and yeah, we do all of that, but like, hey, but you remember they were kind of naughty this way. And you just say those things. You just say them. You have to say them in a way that it's out of love, out of being realistic. Like, oh, I couldn't stand that, you never wash your dishes. And you will speak in this form, in these poetic forms, as if you're actually talking to the person. And like, so I love you because this and that, but geez, I couldn't stand this part. Or, oh, you drive me crazy every time this happened. So it's something that I feel it's kind of really staying very real. So that's kind of just the background that I wanted to share about the roots of our ritual today. And for you to just be real with what is true to you. Yeah. And as a way to start, I would like to read one of those poems that are about no one in particular, but are about the tradition of this day. And it is a translation of a poem that is originally in Spanish, and it's made by Davina Guadalupe Ponce Martinez, and the poem is about this tradition. In this special month, in which everything is party and dance, we remember with love traditions and praises. It is necessary to remember with faith that we will meet again, and we remember our adventures. For our loved ones, we build an altar for their souls and heartbeats we sense coming back. So we celebrate them with large pieces of bread placed on altars with flowers, candles, and libations. To make them happy in their fleeting visit in this land of love, the memories that remain. I wait for them sitting down, for I know we'll converse these 2 full nights with atoles and cookies. Dear happy souls, knowing that we love you, we remember your love and await your return. Yeah, so time to wrap this up and bring our experience to a close. And my final invitation would be, if you have a dedicated space to your loved one, or if you want to have an altar and join the tradition on November 1st and 2nd, you can then bring your offering. You can share it with your family or with whoever you want to share this with, to have these rituals of coming together and remember together, in gratitude, in celebration. We can bring the tears, we can bring the joy and the laughter, because it's all part of being in relationship with this loved one. So you're very much invited to bring your offering into a particular moment. And if you want to do it earlier or later or every day, that's also for you to decide, right? Because you may also have your own traditions around this.